Okay, thanks. I'm going to take this in English. Okay, I'm Shadid. I'm a developer at SmartBear, where we build tools for testers and developers. And some of those tools are used by more than 1 million users every day. So I'm going to share some of our experience in building software tools and some of the problem areas and some of our approaches how to avoid those problem areas. So as humans, I mean, we have been using tools for quite a while. It has been at least 2.6 million years we have started using tools, and until today, I mean, we are using more and more tools every day, and including software tools. And but the purpose of using a tool remains the same. I mean, it's to increase, to make you more efficient. And how does it make us more efficient? It multiplies our productivity. So when you use a tool, your expectation is to multiply your productivity. At the same time, it's also important that that tools itself doesn't create a high barrier or friction to use it, because otherwise you again lose the efficiency. And think about just a hammer. Like the moment you grab it, you probably know how to use it. I mean, it's as simple as that. But in software tools, it becomes a bit more challenging, since you can have thousands of features in the same tool. And also, as the diversity of users grow, like you have users with different skill sets, different backgrounds, different goals, and different priorities. When you try to satisfy all of them, it becomes quite challenging. So at some point, like we're not going to the extreme right, where you try to satisfy everyone and you try to have all the features, and probably it's better not to go into that area. But when you are in the middle area, so when you have significant number of features and also you have quite a lot diverse users, so that's the problem area. And for example, I put Chrome as a browser tool on the far right, and it probably has lots of users using every day, but it has also quite a limited number of features because it just allows you to browse. And then on the other hand, we can think of Photoshop, that's probably have less users than a browser, but it's also quite feature rich. So thinking about the productivity and friction, when you use a software tool, you probably inherently get productivity because of the computing power you have, unless you really mess it up. But then the problem of friction still remains the same when you have lots of features. So to overcome this friction problem, one of the most important thing is when you have lots of features, you have to decide the right feature. So you just don't follow your heart and include whatever you think is good for customers. So you have to reason about it and be specific what features you want to introduce into your tool. And also, once you have chosen the right feature, it's also extremely important to build it right and build it properly. So we'll see some of the approaches we follow to decide the right feature. One of the things is like shifting perspective from the beginning. So from business perspective to customer need. So it's a very common, maybe when you get an idea, you start thinking about, yeah, we think our customer needs it. And then you already in your mind start selling how this feature can bring money for us. But instead, I mean, of course, the business value is quite important. Otherwise, you cannot survive. But at the same time, it's also important to understand the customer needs. So how, for example, what's the goal customer is trying to achieve? And how can we help them to do so? And then understanding who needs what and why. It's also quite important. At SmartBear, we use personas extensively for this. For example, the second guy from the left is Mr. Kelvin, and he's 45 years old. He was a QA manager, and he has quite a lot of experience, and he's also a very pragmatic guy. On the other hand, if we look at Uwe, who is second from the left with the yellow t-shirt, he's a really cool developer. At the same time, he also has a very strong opinion about things, and he's very vocal. And if he doesn't like anything in a tool or in a software, he doesn't mind reinventing the wheel. So he goes all the way. So when we build a tool or feature, we have to know for whom are we building it, and why do they need it, and what goal they're trying to achieve. And this helps you a lot, to decide on the right feature. And then also another important thing is when you have a business goal, maybe you get it from management or from your product owner, but as a team, you would like to understand or translate those goals into user goals. So then it becomes much easier to decide the right feature, at the same time to decide on the right solution once you know the goal. And then once you have chosen the feature, it's also about doing it right. And that's probably a bit harder than just choosing a feature. So usability testing. If you have lots of interactions on a feature, it's probably a good idea to do usability testing, and also doing it as early as possible. Just do something simple and basic and go out and let the customers or your internal users try it. There are many benefits of doing it earlier, because you also get less biased, because once you develop a solution, it's always you have got the biasness and you try to justify your solution. But if you throw it out early, it's easier for you to accept the user feedback. And then impersonation tests. This is something we have tried at SmartBear, and it works out quite well. So the idea is you get some users within your organization and let them fake the personas for whom you are building the feature. So you ask them to set a goal and then give you a tool or feature and try to ask them to achieve their goal using this feature. And it's really good because it only doesn't find the problem of usability, but it also finds the problem or the limit of your feature, whether they can actually do what they want to do with your solution or not. And that's and the good thing is it's quite cheap also. You can just find some people within your organization and ask them to do. But again, the important thing is, like, for example, if you are faking a developer persona, it's better to find a developer and not a marketing guy. Then it becomes quite hard. Yeah. Be in the wild. Visit users, because you will be amazed to see how people use your tools. And I mean both in positive way and negative way. And also try to blend the UX within the process, because for example, if you have to decide and understand the user need right from the beginning when you were detailing out the requirements, because it's not something you can do till the end, at the end. So it's also important that you start early and blend those things within your workflow. And engage the team as much as possible to user-centered activities. The reason is probably you have a one or even half UX guy in the team, and it's not always possible for him to do everything. And when you involve people, it gets everyone in the team gets the user sympathy, and that's quite important in building it properly. Yeah, so that's it. So in summary, this should be shifting perspective when you are deciding right feature, use personas, and understand user goals. And about the feature, try to do usability, impersonation test, visit user, and engage the team. Thanks.